Hi, welcome back. I've got some more fittings for the kegs, so I'm going to start putting them on. I've got some ball valve taps. These ones here. I found a supplier that they was under £3 each, so I've got one each for the kettles and one for a mash tun when I finally get one. Also got some 2-inch running nipples to put the taps on with. Originally I was going to use just straight compression connectors, but there just wasn't enough thread on there really to get a decent seal, I don't think. So we've got them, we've got some flange nuts to go on there, and we'll start putting all that together in a minute. I've got to get sort of a move on really, I think, because I'm down to my last 3 bottles of Homebrew. So I'm just desperate to do my first all grain batch. So hopefully in 2-3 weeks time maybe we'll be doing that. Everything won't all be sort of complete by then. At the minute I've really got nowhere to do the brewing except in the greenhouse. So I'll be using an extension lead. I haven't started the control panel build yet. That's something to come. Got lots of ideas for it. So let's carry on with the taps. I'm just putting some PTFE tape onto the end of the running nipple. When you're putting this on, you need to pull it fairly tight until you get your first turn on there. You can't really tighten it. There we go. Not close to the end, but not over the end, because you don't want to obscure the aperture there. I've got a few good turns on. And because we're going to be tightening this nut onto the back, I can't put the PTFE tape further up, because when I come to tighten up this nut we'll be going against the direction of the tape, so it will start to pucker up. And because there's no purchase on the running nipple, really difficult to hold on to, and I don't want to damage the threads, I've used 2 flange nuts. Just put them together one on top of the other and locked them, so hopefully that will give me enough purchase to screw this in. I think there's enough tape on there now. So there we go. This is the ball valve that I've chosen. As I said, I got them under £3 each. They're from a company online. They're not stainless steel. Well, I wouldn't have thought they were. But there's a decent lumen in there. There's going to be plenty of flow. We need this side to come away from the keg, so we'll screw this in there. Also, another thing you want to be careful of is that you don't cut yourself on the thread as well. It feels like it's bottomed out. Probably put a little bit more tape on, I think, if I can undo it. I either seem to put too much on or not enough. There we go. That's better, it feels much tighter now. So we just tighten this down. It's nice and tight. Right, to undo these, I'm hoping if I just undo that top one, it should undo. Nope, it's starting to tighten down there. If I undo the bottom one and screw the bottom one down so I'm tightening up, that should undo it. There we go. Right, so I've running nipples on. The running nipples on there. So what I'm going to do is this will go through the keg. Just clean up the ends. I'm going to put a washer on the outside. This will go through the keg wall. I'm going to add the homemade silicone washer. Then I'm going to put one of these stainless steel washers on, and then the flange nut and tighten it down. And I don't want to take the tape past the nut really. There we go. I'm putting the PTFE tape on the inside because I don't want water tracking down the thread. Because I think if it does that, that will cause a leak. So that's all pulled nice and tight now. So there we go. So that washer on. Then it'll be through the keg wall, the silicone washer, then the stainless steel washer, and then the back nut. Okay, that's on nice and tight. It's not going anywhere. The next thing I've got to do is fit this. Just the Gecko style fittings that I'm using. Plenty of PTFE tape on the thread again, and then I'm just going to screw that in. So the PTFE tape's on here now. Just got to screw him onto there. Being very careful not to cross thread. There we go. Because he's got a like a lump on the end there, I can poke that through spanner and use that to tighten it up. As long as I'm careful that I'm not putting too much pressure on, anything's going to break. There we go, that's nice and tight. We haven't moved the tap, so that's ready. Okay, I'm going to carry on with the other keg, and then I'll show you where we're getting to. Okay, that's just finished, all fitted. That's just fitted up. So exactly the same as I've done before, but this is the AOLT. These fittings previously put on in a very similar way. These two here are for the Hermes coil, the top one's for filling, And what I've done is I'll show you inside in a second. I put a pipe in there that's going to swirl the hot liquor so I can recirculate from the tap going to that port there, and that will hopefully give me better temperature consistency through the whole of the hot liquor. Right, just so we can have a look inside, there's the Hermes coil. I'll turn the pot round. You can see how I've connected it. So that's in at the top. I've just got another piece of copper tube. He's going down to the bottom, and then I can use that to swirl the hot liquor. I've also fitted, you can see down there, I fitted the thermo wells, done them in both kegs now. It's just a piece of 10mm pipe, and then I've just put a stop on the end and soldered that on. That's just going through the wall of the keg. So there's the other side of the thermo well. What I've also thought of is when I start getting my temperature controllers and things, I'm not sure what probe I'll be using, but they can go straight into that thermo well, and then I can also cap it with a compression stop end. If I drill a hole through the centre there, in the middle of it, for the wire, and then poke the wire through with the probe at the other end, and then we can just pop them on, and then just put that on the end. My thoughts are it would just keep the no airflow around it then, so maybe that will be a little bit more accurate for temperature, and also you won't inadvertently be able to pull out the temperature probe. Another thing I've ensured with the Hermes coil, which is coming on these two ports here, what I think my intentions will be put the in at the top and the out at the bottom. Then when you come to disconnect, if I disconnect from this point here, the Hermes coil will then empty down to that point there. And I've been quite careful in the way I've put the Hermes coil in. As I've done a leak test, I filled with water, just to make sure that the Hermes coil doesn't lean one way or the other, to sort of reduce the possibility of the warp that runs through there pooling in there and making it difficult to clean. Right, all the fittings are on the kegs now. Hermes coils in, whirlpool tube, etc. I've calibrated the sight glass the same as I've done the sight glass on the boil kettle, with a dowel, putting in a litre of water at a time. Then I transferred it onto the inside of the tube. To get reasonably straight lines, what I've done was use a piece of the offcut from the tube. Just on the edge there, I just chamfered the edge to stop the pen bleeding, and then I drop that on just so it's in the right place, and then use a pen just to put a mark. That way it's kept it reasonably straight, and then put the increments in. On this one I've also put a mark where the element is, mark where the thermo well, and there's a red mark there, hopefully you can see it, shows where the Hermes coil is. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to fit this one onto the back of the tube. I've just got to undo the nuts on the eye bolt. Top. take that out. This will then slide over the top. And adjust the angle. We're going to be looking at it from the front, so we can adjust that and then pop the eye bolt on. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, please hit the like button below. If you've got any questions or would like to leave a comment, please do so in the comment box below. If you want to keep up to date with what I'm doing, please hit the subscribe button, which should be about here. I've also got a Facebook page, so if you want to keep up to date with what we're doing, and I'll stick the link of that in the description. Thanks for watching.